Entrepreneurship or Gale Business Entrepreneurship, one of the databases offered by the Plano Public Library. I'm Emily, and I'm a librarian here at the Plano Public Library, and I will be presenting today's program. I'm joined by Jess, who will be monitoring our chat and presenting any questions that may pop up. Before we begin, we need to let you know about some ground rules that we have set up for today's program. First, you will be muted during this class, and we will have your video blocked. You will only see the instructor screen. At the top of your screen, you will find the Exit Full Screen option if you need to do other things on your computer during today's program. You are welcome to ask questions or request that the instructor repeat information at any time during today's program. You should see an icon at the bottom of your screen that says Chat. If you click on that, a chat window will open up and you will be able to enter your question or comment. The chat is only seen by library staff and cannot be seen by other viewers. If you prefer, you may also use the Q&A feature located at the bottom of your screen to ask questions. Please note that any inappropriate questions through the chat or Q&A feature will be the cause for your immediate removal from today's class. For all questions, we may answer them directly in the chat or Q&A box. Hold your question until a break or the end of the class, or answer it immediately if it's more pressing. We will be using the instructor screen to demonstrate and may share additional resources in the chat as well, so please make sure that you do have that chat window open. A recording of today's program will be available in a few days through the library's YouTube channel. So if you would like to watch today's program and practice with the recording later, that is an option. And with that and those ground rules out of the way, let's get started. Before we continue on to our agenda for today, I would like to pose a quick disclaimer for today's class, and that is to mention that the instructor, myself, is not a business expert. I am just a librarian here at the Plano Public Library. The purpose of today's class is to provide general information about library resources and to provide a general overview of the Gale Entrepreneurship database. For business expertise, we do recommend that you connect with a Dallas Score mentor, who are available at the Schimmelfinnig and Parr libraries for a free consultation. For more information and to register for one of these consultations, please visit the Plano Public Library's website at planolibrary.org or the Dallas Score website at score.org/Dallas for more information. As I've stated, today's program will be an overview of the Gale Business Entrepreneurship Database. This will include the database features as well as a demonstration of the database. This database is available to all Plano Public Library cardholders for free through the library's TextShare database subscription. If you are not a Plano Public Library cardholder, we do recommend that you check with your local library to learn more about what databases are available to you and how to access them. I'm so sorry, we went over that. Got the disclaimer twice. All right, so let's talk about this database. So what is the Gale Entrepreneurship Database? The Gale Entrepreneurship Database is a comprehensive database covering all aspects of starting, financing, and managing a small business. This includes accounting, finance and taxes, human resources, management, and marketing, and so much more. In the database, you will find thousands of examples of business plans, how-to guides, articles for small businesses, including journals and magazines, as well as much more. The database is organized into 4 feature categories: Start, Plan, Fund, and Manage. And we will go over these more in depth in just a moment. I would like to quickly mention for those who are not familiar with not familiar with business plans, that a business plan is a written document that outlines the goals and strategies for how a business is going to achieve their success. Essentially, it's a roadmap to their success and something that you might want to consider if you have a business or you're considering starting one. All right, so let's talk a little bit more about these database features. Starting with, we will talk about the plan feature. The plan feature is focused on business plan research and other information to help you get your business started. Topics in this category include budgeting, business ideas, business plans, market research, as well as marketing. The Start feature is focused on information related to business types and structures within the United States. Topics in this category include trending small businesses, entrepreneurs, home-based businesses, franchises, business certifications, business structures, legal entities, and networking. The Fund feature is focused on exploring all different types of aspects of funding sources for your small business. Topics in this category include angel investors, venture capital, government funding options, loans and grants, self-funding, traditional lending sources, and untraditional lending sources. And finally, the Manage feature is focused on helping you to maintain and grow your small business once you're up and running. Topics in this category include financing, expanding your business, business management, selling strategies, and business technology. All right, so that is the general overview of this database. And now we are going to switch to our demonstration. So bear with me for just a moment here. And I just need to, all right, let's see. Let me just switch my screen here. All right. So can everyone see the web page on the screen?
Yep, it looks good.
Great. Thank you so much for confirming. All right. So to get to the Gale Entrepreneurship database, as well as any of the databases the library provides, you're going to want to start by going to the Plano Library website. You can get there by typing into your browser planolibrary.org and clicking enter. That will take you to the library's homepage, and you have a couple options here to navigate to our database screen. The first option is to quite simply click on the easiest option, which is the Research and Learn button here, or you can navigate to the Library tab at the top of your screen, and then scroll down over here under Learn to Research and Learn. Both of those options will take you to the same place, but let's start with that simple option, clicking on the Research and Learn button. All right, once we are here, this is going to take you to a list of all of the databases offered by the Plano Public Library. We have our databases organized by subject over here. And since this is a business-related database, we're going to go down to our business database options and click on that tab, which brings us a list of all of the databases related to the subject of business. We are going to then scroll down here until we find the Gale Entrepreneurship database. I would like to mention there are two databases that we have that are called Gale and Entrepreneurship. We are looking for the one specific to business. So this Gale 1 file is going to be more different. It will be different research type articles on business and entrepreneurship topics, whereas The Gale Business Entrepreneurship one is the one that we were referring to previously, which is more in line with starting your business, running your business, and those business plans. So to access this database, we're going to click on this Access Now button. If you are visiting this database from home, before you get to this database landing page, you will be presented with a screen to log in using your library card number and PIN. Quite simple to do. You will just enter your Plano Public Library card number, just the number, no spaces, and that 4-digit PIN associated with your account. Once you click enter for that, you will be taken to this screen here to access the database. Now, before we jump into this, are there any questions or is anyone having any trouble if you are trying to follow along at home with accessing?
I'm not seeing any questions come in quite yet.
Okay, perfect. Well, if something does come up, again, please use that chat or Q&A feature, and I am more than happy to answer. All right, so once we are within the database, you will see quite a few options that you have to use this database. So first up here at the top, you will see the quick search bar. This will allow you to search the database, including the business plans, any articles within it related to the topic of your interest. Keep in mind that this database, like all library databases, works with keyword searches. So if I were interested in opening a pet store, or yes, let's try a pet shop. If I typed in, like I might in Google, how to open a pet shop. Excuse me, I do not do very well typing whilst being watched. All right, you'll see that if I type that in, I'm going to get not too many results in there, as well as not very relevant results. Now, if we go back and I use keyword searches, so I am just, the keyword for opening a pet shop is a pet shop. So if I use that to search versus a question and click on the little magnifying glass icon, you'll see I don't get very many results, but they are much more relevant to the topic I'm interested in. Now, if we go back, we do have the option for an advanced search. If you click on that, it will give you more options for creating a more focused or more narrow search. So you'll see here we can add multiple search terms. So if I went back to my pet store, or sorry, pet shop option, I'm interested in looking for a pet shop, or maybe I'm interested in a pet store. So you'll see I'm going to search for both of these keywords. If you click on here, you can see all the different types of options you have to limit your search terms. So if maybe I was searching for a subject, so it's not the title of the work, but what that article or business plan is about, I might use a subject. If you use keyword, it's going to search for all fields in those articles and search results that you get. Over here, these are called your connector or Boolean operator words. So you have 3 different options. When you use and, it's going to search for results where both of these terms show up in that result. So it will look for, say, a business plan where it mentions pet shop as well as pet store. If I changed it to or, it's going to look for business plans or articles where it uses either pet shop or pet store. It does not have to include both. And if I use not, it's going to exclude that second term. So we'll only look for pet shop. It will ignore anything that mentions pet store. If you forget any of these, they do have a quick reminder down here under search tips, which will explain, if you click on it, more about what those terms use to connect your search results and how to utilize them. Any questions there?
I'm not seeing any questions.
Thank you, Jess. All right.
Of course.
So the advanced search is wonderful if you're trying to be more specific with your search results. So if you are starting with that general quick search and you're just not getting anything that is relevant to your topic, or you're getting maybe too much, this is a nice feature to have to create a more narrow focused results list for you. But most of our users, including myself, will feel pretty comfortable and get decent results just by using this quick search feature. I just wanted to mention that the advanced option is an option for you. All right, so next on our journey of this homepage, we're going to scroll down here to this top menu. So you'll see that you have a glossary, browse topics, title list, search history, get a link, and highlights and notes. The glossary will give you a list. If we click on it here, sorry, it's being a little slow. All right, so the glossary will give you a list of all of the terms that are used within this database, as well as in the resources within the database. So if you see a term and you're just not sure what that means, maybe you see 4Cs mentioned, you can come to the glossary and find an explanation for what that term means. We go back here, browse topics will give you a list of all the topics mentioned in this database. And if you click on those topics, it will bring you to the content in the database related to that topic. There are also business types. So if you know the specific business type, or you're maybe just thinking about, I don't know what business to start, let me just see what's out there. This is a nice feature to browse those business types and the relevant resources in the database related to them. And then lastly, there are some very nice how-to guides that you can find within this feature and additional resources. Navigate back to that home screen. The title list is going to give you a list of all of the resource titles, so where this information is coming from that is found in this database. And the search history is a great option for if you do a search and you are working in this database for a little while and you find that the search that you had previously done gave you much better results than the search that you are currently doing, but you can't remember what the search terms you had used were. You can go to your search history and find out what the search terms were, as well as click on it to recreate that search. Keep in mind that the search history does clear every session that you start and end. So I am in a new session here. So if I happen to close this session and then go back to a new session, oops, didn't work quite as I thought it would. Generally, once you close the session, your search history will be cleared. It may be because it was such a quick time span. I don't know 100% of how quickly that does clear, but just keep that in mind. If you do a session one day and then you come back the next day, your search history will likely not be there anymore, and so you won't have those terms that you can recreate by. Additionally, you do have the option to highlight and make notes on the documents and resources in this database that, like your search history, does clear every time that you end a session within this database. So you will want to make sure that you download or print off anything that you do highlight or make notes on so you don't lose that information. And then the last one here, get a link. If you click on this, it will give you a permanent link to whatever page or article you are on so that you have access to that. If instead you maybe copy this URL at the top of the page and saved it to reopen later, it's very likely not going to bring you to that same page, since this is not a persistent link, whereas this is a persistent link. Any questions? All right.
No questions at this time.
Okay, thank you. All right, so scrolling down here, you will see a featured topic section, which gives you some of the more trending topics of the time related to starting a business or running a business. And if you click on the explore the topic, it will bring you to a landing page with more information on that specific topic. And then as we scroll down to the very bottom of the page, you will see those 4 features that I previously mentioned: start, plan, fund, and manage. And we will click through just a few of these topics within these features so that you can get a little bit better of an idea of what that actually means. So starting with your start feature. So remember, this is the topic category if you are starting out with creating a business or just trying to think of what kind of business do I want to start. So say I'm thinking about starting a business, but I don't know exactly what business to create. So I might come down here and explore the trending small businesses. So within this topic, I can see a general overview. If I click the read more, it's going to give me that full article. And it will give me an idea of what those trending industries are, more information about those industries, and I can come through, as I mentioned previously, about the highlighting and notes, and I can make some highlights of, oh, that's interesting, can make some notes in there, save that, and that will be kept track in my highlights and notes section. Over on the right-hand side here, you'll see related articles to this topic, as well as different subjects that this article features. So this article features information on retail trade, manufacturing, wholesale trade. And if you click on those, you'll be taken to a new page that is more information on that subject. If we go back to that landing page for the trending small businesses and scroll down further, we can see all of the different resources related to this topic area. So you can see that there are business plans associated with that have to do with starting a small business, different recommended resources, so encyclopedia articles about manufacturing, retailers, services. We also have relevant magazines and journals, quite a few, actually. There's over 20,000 different magazines and journals, as well as directories, news articles, videos, audio, so files that you would listen to, and websites. And you can click on all of these links here to open the articles or business plans related to that topic. All right. So all of these features that we previously mentioned have those topic categories within them that you can click on to learn more. So I definitely recommend, depending on what your interest is, clicking on some of these. So if you have a business and you already started it, you've got a plan for how you're going to run your business, you know about your market research already, and say you are just interested in different financing options for you. You can come here and say maybe an angel investor or a venture capitalist has reached out to you. They want to invest. You don't really know that much about it and want to come and learn more. If you click on this link here, it's going to give you more information about what that means. You can come down here and you can see different business plans where this first one is an actual angel network that was created to fund small businesses, whereas this one below here, this apparel manufacturing, if we click on it, we can see, see here. we click under, I believe it'd probably be under investments, we can see that they had an angel investor and how much that was invested. So you can get an idea of companies, different companies and small businesses out there that maybe use those funding sources, how much they were, how that worked, to give you a better idea when running your own business. All right. So let's go back to the main page here, and then we'll jump into some more searches of business plans. But first, that is the essential overview of this database. Are there any questions before we do some of these practice searches of it?
We do have one question that came in.
Okay.
It says, what resources would you recommend for those of us that do not have a business idea yet? I'm exploring the ideas of starting an online blog or web store. Thank you so much for your help and for this wonderful session.
Yeah, that is a wonderful question. So for starting a business, I would definitely recommend checking out this start category and some of the topics underneath here to give you an idea of how you might go about starting that, what kind of structure you might want to have. If you happen to be a woman or a veteran or a minority, there are different types of funding and certifications that you can get for fitting into those categories. So this would be a great option to give you a foundational knowledge of what it takes to start a business. And then also come up here to this plan category and check out some of these topics of how are you going to find out how are you going to do your market research? How are you going to figure out who your projected target audience is? How are you going to market that business? How are you going to create a budget for supporting and sustaining that business? So this would be a great starting point for getting an idea. And then once you kind of finish those, moving towards the other categories. I would also recommend coming up here, and then we can start actually doing that for a business plan search. So we can see maybe there are, let's see, let's do a general search for a blog and see what we get here. So it's not giving us too good of results. So you can see when you are using different search terms and doing searches in any database, it is very much a trial and error, see what works, see what doesn't work. So we can do, let's try blogs, and then we can use, remember those connecting words, so blogs or blogging. We'll see if something comes up there. So remember, it's going to look for either blogs or blogging, so it should give us more results that are maybe a little more focused. Okay. So it doesn't look like a business plan necessarily showed up, but there is an article. Looks like it's multi-parts. So maybe we can find some information here. So this one doesn't give us a ton of information about it, but what I really like about finding something related to a topic I'm interested in is these related subjects. So maybe if we come down here and we click on this blogs, it looks like that gave us some actual business plans that look like they may be more relevant to the topic we're looking at. So they're more likely than not, you're probably not going to find a business plan that 100% matches your business, and that's a good thing, because if you find a business plan out there that is an exact match to what your idea for a business is, that means you've got some competition out there, which is doesn't mean you shouldn't start that business, but it means you may have to try and be a little more creative to get into that market. All right, so let's look at this travel writer business plan, and we can see how helpful this might be for someone considering starting a blog. So give us a little overview here. So it looks, oops, sorry. It looks like this person is starting a minimalist traffic blog that will generate income from multiple sources, including writing, speaking, and advertising. Now, as we scroll down here to the article contents, you can see the setup, the structure for this business plan. So executive summary, their industry analysis, so their overview of that travel writing industry, blogging, market analysis, who their customers are going to be, who their competitors are going to be, what services they're going to provide, if they're going to hire anyone, or if they're going to be a one-man show or one-woman show. Marketing, financial analysis, as well as a SWOT analysis. And if anyone is not familiar with the SWOT analysis, I highly recommend it once you get to, once you do have a business idea in mind, as well as even if you have a running business, it's always great to continue to do SWOT analyses over time because they will assess your strengths, so what your business is good at, your weaknesses, your shortfalls as a business, opportunities, so where you will fit into that market, and what's going to make you unique, as well as threats. So what is going to potentially take consumers away from your business, what are challenges you may come up with, so on and so forth. So it's not required to include this in your business plan. It's great, but it is a wonderful thing to do just for a personal assessment of that. Now you can see here as they created this, their strengths, they already have quite a few subscribers, their weaknesses, so they have been traveling extensively and have attracted many people, but it is hard to run a business while you're traveling. Opportunities, the minimalist lifestyle has been catching on. And then weaknesses, COVID, and the ramifications of the post-COVID world. And now, so I did mention initially that if you're not familiar with business plans, that again, this is a roadmap for your business success. And typically you will create this not only for yourself to give you a plan for how you're going to be successful as a business, but also once you go to get financing. So if you are doing any kind of non-self-funded financing, so you need to go to a bank or an investor, or someone else to convince them to inject money into your business, you're going to need to have one of these business plans to prove your case of why your business is going to be successful and why someone should invest in it. So if we go back up here, financial details are going to be very important to have. Usually, I think they recommend about 1 to 5 years, sometimes a little more depending on your industry. Revenue, so, you're a business, how are you going to make money? What are your projected revenues for your business? Where is that going to come from? How is it going to hopefully grow over time? And I know we're doing this a little backwards, but there is no kind of right or wrong way for writing a business plan, so long as it has certain elements in it. So financial is always going to be one, your market's always going to be one, and your growth is going to be one. So you can see their marketing analysis, forecasted volumes, personnel. So the main person, the traveler blogger, is Hal Stevens. Who they are, it does not look like at this time that they are going to hire anyone else. Operations, so where they're located. It's like the themes for the different blogging posts that they do, what services they'll provide. And then competition, which is always a big one of who's your biggest competitor in your market. So it is always good to do your market research and know who is your direct and adjacent competition. All right, so this looks like it would be probably a pretty decent one to use if you were interested in blogging. And if we go back here, I think actually if we click on results, take us back to that page, we can also see from a different perspective a food critic. And it looks like this is a social media influencer who critiques entrees from national fast food chains. And you can see again the breakdown of their contents for this and how they went about writing their business plan. So again, these are great resources to give you an idea of, I have this idea, I have this business, I need to write a business plan. How do I put that into words? It's kind of like, think about it like a resume. You find someone else, you need to write a resume to get a job, you find someone else's resume online or someone gives you theirs, and you can use that as a source for creating your own resume. But again, you wouldn't copy and paste things from one to the other because it is so unique to you and to your business. And for all of these business plans, if you find one that you think, this is super helpful, I would want to use this as maybe a foundation or a guide for mine, you can always send it to yourself. So this will send you a copy of it as an email, or you can download it to your Google Drive or OneDrive. You can also download a PDF copy of it to your device, or you can print it or get a link to it. And remember, anytime you make those notes or highlights to anything, once you clear out of here and maybe give it 30 minutes or so, all of that will go away the next time you sign in. And again, if this was something we're interested in, we can come down here and see, what are those relevant topics. So maybe your blog was related to food. So we searched for blogs, came up with this, but look, there's restaurant critics as well. That might also be something that is helpful. And all of these business plans, I would like to mention, are real businesses. So they are businesses that maybe they are currently still in operation. They were in operation at one point and no longer are. These are real people, real businesses that submitted these business plans to this very well-known resource called the Business Plans Handbook, which is how these were published in this database. Right. Any other sample searches that anyone would like to propose, or does anyone have any questions?
I do have a question while people can throw in the chat their search recommendations.
Yeah, love it.
The question is there any certificate course, like a project manager certificate we can do?
So that is a great question. That is not something, unfortunately, that this database provides. That is something, so I'll mention it again later in class, but since you did bring it up, if we go back to the Plano Library databases and we, again, under the business tab, scroll down to either LinkedIn Learning, or if we scroll down all the way to the very almost end to Udemy, both of those are skill building databases and resources that we have available to you through your Plano Public Library card. And both of them offer a series of videos in a classroom-like format that you can watch and learn on those topics. So like the topic you mentioned, and then at the end of it, you will be provided with a certificate for completing that course. It is not, I should mention, it's not quite the same certificate that you would get if, say, you went to a community college or a university and attended a continuing education course or professional course on that topic, but it does give you very good foundational knowledge in that area. And all of those courses are taught by professionals and experts in those fields. So it's not just some, anyone who wants to share information on that. It is someone who is respected in that subject area teaching that course. And they can range anywhere from 5 minutes to 5 days worth of information. But great question. So I'm gonna, navigate maybe back to my screen here. All right, Jess, any other questions or
We did get a
search
search
ideas?
recommendation. Yeah.
Okay, so I'm gonna go back to my main screen. All
AI
right.
tools to use in business.
Okay. So that one I would generalize probably to AI. You can see what comes up. Tools. And when you click on to do a search, it will give you search recommendations like these. So these are also great tools for kind of expanding your search or narrowing your search to find those more relevant business plans. So it looks like, I don't know. So it looks like we have a relevant article here. Let's see what this one discusses. This is more focused on epidemiology, but maybe they use AI in their labs. And you can always do a control F to see. Okay. So if you do control F on any web page, it's going to allow you to search all the text in here. So once we did that, we were able to locate in this business plan a mention of AI. That could be an option. Can try generative. One mentions it, but doesn't seem like it may be the whole business. So this one may require you to be a little bit more creative. You may have to do some more trial and error testing, and we may not find anything today, but this database is updated daily, as well as annually with new business plans, new articles. So even though we're not finding maybe anything that seems very relevant today, that may change over time. Artificial intelligence and different AI systems are newer, and many of them are protected by trademarks, copyrights, and other intellectual property protections. So it's possible that they're maybe a little bit too new for them to end up as a business plan in this resource as of right now. So you may want to, instead of looking specifically for AI, look for maybe business software to get an idea of how a business plan would be structured for that. Let's see. So if we did something like business software, we can see different systems that aren't exactly AI, but they may be marketed and treated similarly to AI in a business to business sale environment. Yeah, good question. That was a tricky one.
Well, they
So
did
thank you.
say thank you.
Yes, thank you, thank you. Thank you for the challenge. So
We did
appreciate
get
it.
another question.
Yes.
Um, do we need to worry about copyrighted materials in this database?
So it depends on your what you mean by copyrighted. So all of the information in this database is protected by copyright, like anything out there on the internet. None of this is published under a Creative Commons licensing. So if you do utilize this information, if say maybe I copied and pasted this into my business plan, you would want to cite where that came from and give proper credit to that person. So I can't think of a time when you probably would, you might run into that issue. Because again, these business plans and the information in here are to guide you in your search, unless you are using this exact verbatim um, business plan or using large sections of it, which is probably not a best practice. You're likely not going to experience much issue with copyright. But again, be a good consumer of information. If you do utilize someone else's work, please do give them the proper credit for their work. Just hopefully that answers your question. I'm more than happy to be more specific in an answer if you gave more details. But most of these business plans do not feature much graphics that you are going to be able to copy and paste. The graphics in here are largely going to be graphs and charts that you're going to want to create again for your own because your business is not their business. I'm trying to see if this one has a chart. Okay, so a chart in here. So if you were to say to copy this image and put it into yours, yes, without crediting them and getting permission to use this, that would be a copyright infringement. However, if you copy this and put it into your business plan, unless your numbers and your growth is exactly the same, it's not going to make any sense. If you use this as a guide for creating your own chart, it would be your own chart, so you would be okay in that regard. So hopefully that answers that question.
We did
Um,
get one more
yes.
search term recommendation.
Yeah, we've got about 5 more minutes to play around
Uh,
with. So
it's sustainable business plan.
let's see. Sorry. Close your eyes for a second. All right, let's see what comes up for. So I'm going to guess without further information that you are referring to a company that has to do something with sustainability. So we can see here if we put that in, we can search for sustainable, we can search for sustainability, and we're very likely to get different results depending on which one we search for. Goodness, I promise this database is not typically this slow. This is unfortunately my Wi-Fi connection. So I do apologize for the lag. Looking at it again. Third time's maybe the charm. All right, I don't know why this has kind of stopped working here. Let's try. I'm gonna try just going back through and reopening it. And sometimes this does happen again with all technology. Databases have bad days too, and Mondays. All right, let's try that one more time. So let's see if we can do a search for sustainability. So I guess this is a good time to mention, while we're waiting and experiencing this lag issue, that if you are trying to use one of our databases and there is a lag or it does not load, for whatever reason, please let us know and we would love to investigate that further because sometimes that is an issue. Sometimes it's an issue with your personal device, sometimes it's an issue with the internet, and sometimes it actually is an issue with the database itself. And when we do know about those, we can try and figure out what's going on and resolve it. All right, so it's like we finally got some sustainability related resources here. So just depending on kind of what you're interested in sustainability, let's see. So looks like there is a climate advisory, which is very likely to be about consulting or let's see here. Yes, they are a consulting firm, so they're working towards providing climate change related guidance. So if you're interested in sustainability of how to consult people on how to make their practices and business more sustainable, to uh, come up with different ideas for that, to cut back, to be more green, whatever it may be, that might be a good option for you. If you had sustainability in mind for, let's say, your actual business. So let's see, let's find where they said sustainable because I'm all right. So for this one, this is a water taxi company, and they are looking on providing waterborne transportation to help combat uh, greenhouse gases and make a more sustainable method of transportation for people with water access. So it just kind of depends on what your focus with sustainability might be. And that's going to be with all of these business plans in here. Again, you may have to kind of think a little bit more focused on your search to narrow down to something that is going to be relevant and helpful to you. Or on the converse, I had someone once who was interested in starting a food truck specific to children, that would focus their services on schools. Unfortunately, searching this database, there's absolutely nothing in here that is a business plan related to food trucks which serve children at schools. But there are business plans related to food trucks, and there are business plans related to food services for schools. So if you kind of combine those two resources, you can come up with your own idea of how to write a good business plan for that. All right. Are there any questions related to this database? Otherwise, we only have a few more minutes here, so we'll start wrapping.
I don't see any other questions.
Wonderful. All right. So I am going to attempt to get Zoom to go back to my PowerPoint. Bear with me for 1 second. All right. So hopefully you can all see that screen. And we'll move on to our additional resources, which Jess is going to pop some of those into our chat. So hopefully, after kind of seeing that demonstration and going through the different features of that database, you have a better idea of the tools and resources that you can find in the Gale Entrepreneurship database, as well as how it may be beneficial to you as a small business owner, entrepreneur, or just someone thinking about maybe starting a small business or entrepreneurial adventure. So if you do have questions about this database, I know that probably after that 30 minutes, you are not experts in it. And even if you are, you may find some challenges for that. So if you do kind of come up with some ideas for questions or things you would like to learn more about, we do offer services, Book a Librarian and Ask a Librarian. Ask a Librarian, you can email us your questions and we will get back to you via email. Book a Librarian is a 30-minute one-on-one service in person, or we can do it virtually, where a librarian will sit down with you to answer your research questions and help you to hopefully get some answers. As I mentioned before, we do have Dallas Score mentors who come here to the libraries, the Schimmelpfennig and Parr libraries, 2 days a week. That is a free service offered to you. They are funded by the Small Business Administration, so you pay nothing out of pocket to get that expertise. If our consulting times don't work for you, you can always, again, go to that score.org/Dallas website and be matched with a mentor and meet at a better time for you. We have our adult fiction collection in the 658s, which is specific to business plans and starting businesses. And we also have our Plano Public Library YouTube channel, which can be found at YouTube, and I believe it is at Plano Public Library. Jess will get that in the chat for you. So if you go there, you can find recordings of all of our virtual sessions that we have posted. So this one will be up there shortly in a few days, as well as other business-related programs. And then lastly, we do have several library databases that you may find helpful in addition to this one. So as I mentioned, we have the LinkedIn Learning, as well as Udemy for those continuing education courses, the Gale One File Business, which is a general business resource where you can find articles on different business topics to help guide you in your process. And then Reference Solutions, which I highly recommend looking at, as well as either viewing our YouTube video for it or checking out one of our classes coming up on that. Reference Solutions is the kind of gold standard database that we offer for market research. So getting to know your market, who your customers are, your competitors are, and so on and so forth. And then lastly, I would like to mention a few upcoming programs. So again, the Score Mentoring available Thursdays at the Schimmelpfennig Library, Wednesdays at the Parr Library. You do have to make an appointment for that, which you can do so by visiting the Plano Public Library website. We do have a class on InDesign and creating a flyer, which might be very helpful for your business. or just kind of getting to know how to use that InDesign software. And then we have our monthly Team Up for Entrepreneurial Success program, or TWOS, this February, oops, sorry, I can't see on my screen here with this little box, February 25th at 6:30 at the Haggard Library. The TWOS program is a wonderful networking opportunity for you to get to know and meet some other local business owners and entrepreneurs, as well as to learn about different business topics, which change monthly. The topic for this month on the 25th is going to be networking. And then lastly, because tax season is upon us, we do have a class coming up on tax basics for small businesses, I believe run by the Bank of America. Coming up is a virtual program on February 26th. And with that, that is the end of our program. My information is on the screen. So if you do have any questions about this program, this database, or anything related to businesses, you could feel free to reach out to me, and I am more than happy to assist you with my librarian expertise and not business expertise. All right, and that is it. Thank you so much for attending. If there are any additional questions, we will hang around here for another few minutes. Otherwise, please feel free to click the leave button and go on with your day.
Thank you, Emily.
Thank
I'm
you,
not
Jess.
seeing any questions, so I'm going to go ahead and end it.
All right, thank you so much, everyone, for attending, and take care.
Bye.
Bye-bye.